Guys, it's Sarah, and today is BookList Thursday. This is a video series I do with my friend Lindsay over at Lindsay's Little Library. And every Thursday we bring you some sort of list or book topic that we feel like talking about for the week. And today is Thanksgiving in the United States. So for everyone who is celebrating and eating with your families, I hope everyone has a wonderful time and a safe holiday. And today we are going to be talking about books that we immediately wanted a second helping of. Now, that doesn't mean a sequel. That doesn't mean I want more and I want another book. That means I closed the book and I immediately wanted to get up and have more. So I wanted to go back to the first page and just reread the entire thing because I wanted more time with these characters. I wanted to be back in this story. I was sad that it was over and I wanted it again. And I'm going to talk about those books here, and a couple of these I did read again. Not right away, but I did have a second helping of them. So that is what we are going to be sharing today. Because let's be real, we all get second helpings of Thanksgiving, right? Okay, the first one, and this is the first book that ever had me do this, where I just wanted to restart it right away, and that is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I remember closing this book and being upset that it was over because I did not want to leave these characters. I knew there was more. There's more to this story and I wanted more, but I also wanted to go back to the beginning and just experience it again. I literally closed this and went, I kind of want to reread it again. I didn't. This is not one of the rereads, but I absolutely loved it that much and I love these characters that much. This is a romance. And it is two people who meet when they are teenagers and they form a very, very close bond. Eventually it turns romantic and then they end up splitting. And I believe it's 11 years later, they have a chance meeting on the street after not talking for 11 years and losing contact. And then they're thrown right back into their feelings and exploring why they broke up. And, are we going to give this another shot type thing? And so you're going back and forth between the timelines and it was just beautiful. Okay, the next one is one that I did have a second helping of, and that is House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I read this one a couple years ago and it became one of my favorite books. I always describe this as just kind of a hug of a book. I just loved it. I definitely hugged it when I was done. I love the characters. I love the writing. I loved the humor. I love everything about this book, and I recently reread it because there was a sequel coming out, and I reread it, and I loved it just as much the second time. And it stays true to just a book I wanted more from for sure, and I definitely got it, and I'm very happy that when I reread it, I've had the same feelings. So this is a fantasy book about a man who is a social worker, and he works for the Department of Magical Youth. So he's a social worker, but for children who have magical powers. And he is assigned to go on location and stay at this orphanage that houses children who have very dangerous abilities. And they are at this house that is on an island because they are not deemed as being safe for the general public. And so they're very isolated. So he is assigned to go there, check things out, make sure they're being cared for, all this stuff. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes that he's learning as well. He gets to know these children. The children are my babies, and I love them with my whole heart. Love them with my whole heart. And so I absolutely love this book so much. Top 10 for me. Another one is The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. Now, this is not an easy book. And this is not a book I can recommend to everybody because this is very hard to read because this deals with some sexual things that are very difficult to read. Very dangerous situations. There's cults involved. However, this book had me so immersed in the writing. I remember sitting on my couch reading this one day and I had to stop and look up and make sure that I was not in the middle of the scene because I felt like I was. I had to look around and go, okay, this is where I am. I am not in the middle of the scene. I'm not surrounded by these people. My life is not in danger. It's okay. That's how well she wrote this book. And I just got so caught up in it. It was crazy. Now, did I want to immediately reread it? Yeah, I did, because I felt like there was probably stuff I missed because I was just kind of flipping the pages so fast. I'm sure I missed some stuff in here. So eventually I would like to reread this one at some point. It's not going to be anytime soon, but I definitely felt like I probably missed a lot, but there was already so much, and I just absolutely loved it. Okay, next one is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This book, you guys, I read this in 2 sittings. And I immediately wanted to reread it again because I loved it so much. I did not want it to end. I just wanted to keep going. And these characters and the humor. There are scenes in this book that I still remember to this day. They make me laugh out loud, still to this day. And I love her writing so, so much. And every time I finish a book by Abby, I just want to immediately reread it. It could be any Abby book. I picked this one up because I think this one, oh man, it might be my favorite. Those are big words because I've loved all of her books. This one might be my favorite though, maybe because it was the first one of hers that I read, very possibly. And she's now like one of my favorite authors of all time. And I've read everything that she's written so far, but this was kind of my starting point. And I definitely remember finishing it and being sad that I finished it. And the last one here is another one that I did reread, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is one of my favorite books of all time, holds true. I finished this book and my jaw was on the floor. I was like, what is happening? What just happened to my entire life after reading this book? I was just questioning everything. I loved it so much. And I was completely obsessed with it. Still am. Let's be real. And I remember finishing it and going, I don't think my reading life will ever be the same. I really don't. This definitely is a top 10, top tier book for me and made me want to read more books with dragons. So I have since picked up more books with dragons for sure. But not only that, I just loved the way that she wrote it and the way that the story unfolded. And I had no idea where it was going. I loved the characters. Oh my gosh. I loved the dragons. Sassy dragons, guys. If you haven't picked this up, sassy dragons. Sassy dragons. And it was just phenomenal. And she made me fall in love with a dragon. I don't know. So, yeah, this just... And I did reread it because when the sequel came out, I wanted to reread it again to have it more fresh in my mind. And I loved rereading it as well. The audio is very good. I normally don't listen to fantasy books on audio because I tend to miss a lot. But since it was a reread, I went ahead and listened to it. So it worked out for me that way. But yeah, so just I will always want more Fourth Wing, always. Okay, guys, that is it. Those are some books that I read that I immediately just wanted more and I wanted to reread and just stay in that world. Do you guys have that experience? Let me know. Have you ever finished a book that you just wanted to start it over again immediately? Because no, this is not done. We're not finished with this story yet. We're just going to go back to the beginning. Let me know that down below and make sure you go check out Lindsay and see which books she's talking about. And I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.